joining us with her insight into this growing health crisis and how it could affect our kids too. Singing River Health System pediatrician Dr. Andrea Logan. Dr. Logan, thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, let's talk about the numbers. 800 plus today, averaging over 600 a day yesterday, and those numbers seem to be growing as far as the daily average. And in South Mississippi, numbers are growing as well. What are your concerns when you see these numbers going up and people not really taking the precautions they were in many cases?
Right. So the big spike in cases right now seems to be mostly among younger individuals. So thankfully, it's a bit outpatient for the most part. The hospital systems, at least our hospital system, is not nearly to capacity as far as sick patients. So that's wonderful. But it seems to be mainly spread among people who are mildly symptomatic and they need to say, oh, I have a little bit of a scratchy throat and a little bit of a cough, and they need to isolate themselves, especially away from those older adults. So if you have a little iffy about your scratchy throat or a little iffy about your temp, please, it's not the day to go visit your mama. Like, let's isolate until you know for sure what you have. Which is not normally what we do, right? Normally we say, I'm probably fine. But with COVID going on, it's important to self-isolate and get evaluated. We have in Singing River Systems, we have our COVID hotline, which is 809-5044, and we can test you if you have any symptoms. But don't cough on your family members is the main thing.
Yeah, that's really important because, again, this virus doesn't seem to really make very many children extremely ill, but it can certainly be passed along to others, and that's a concern. What are your concerns as kids are getting ready to head back to school in about a month and all the things?
So we have
a
lot of new. Yeah, there's a lot of new information out surrounding that. The Academy of Pediatrics has recently released some guidance for the return for the students to return to school in the fall. The Academy of Pediatrics has said that it's real important, as I've been saying, for students to have in-person schooling. So the risk of keeping them at home outweighs the benefit of mitigating COVID, especially given that children aren't as severely affected. So there's a lot of guidance that's come out from the Academy of Pediatrics. We'll be sharing that. I mean, you can find it. There's an NPR article that's been published about it. I am involved with the Medical Advisory Council meeting with Ocean Springs School District. We have a meeting this upcoming week to review sort of their game plan on how we're going to get the kids back in school. So as far as I know, it sounds like everyone's going to be able to have in-person schooling, but of course it'll look a little bit different than a regular year.
Right. And are you getting many questions from parents about their concerns about their kids going back to school and what they should be worried about, what they should be doing?
I think the parents' biggest concern right now is whether those children are going to keep those masks on if they have to ride them in the buses, because that's such a challenge for those little kiddos. What's an interesting question that I'm seeing a lot in my day-to-day practice, that a lot of is new parents are having this question of, what do I do with my new baby? Can I bring my new baby around my family members because of COVID? And my answer has been, new babies are not at increased risk from COVID more than they are from the regular illnesses that we see every year. So little new babies, you're always worried about protecting them from diseases. So we would do the same with new babies as we do any other year. That's really my biggest question I'm getting right now in my practice.
All right, Dr. Andrea Logan from the Singing River Health System. Thanks for this update and for taking care of our kids. And we'll look forward to hearing more from the Medical Advisory Council and what comes out of that meeting as far as Ocean Springs schools. Thanks so much.